Hi everyone, welcome back. It's my AK Swedish Whiskey Girl, and today I am here in Sweden at my dad's amazing bar, which is actually handmade by one of the people who were very kind of good with crafting things out of wood back home where he is from. But because it's today actually my dad's birthday, so happy birthday Dad, and it's also Father's Day here in Sweden, I am gonna try my dad's favourite whiskey. This is Lagavulin, double matured Distillers edition. So this is from, of course, Lagavulin Distillery on Islay. It is bottled at 43% ABV. This is actually a litre bottle, that's why it feels so massive. And it is batch 4, I believe, distilled 2001 and bottled in 2017. It is pretty much, I think, the kind of same age as the 16-year-old, but this has been finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. My dad likes both smoky and non-smoky whiskies. He actually started drinking whiskey when he was doing his veterinary studies in the Stone Age. And he started drinking famous grouse, and then turned into some of the single malts that was being used to make famous grouse, and this is his favourite. It actually has a little house where it lives, and at the end of the video I'll show you that. So I'm excited to try this because I haven't tried it in a while, but I know it's a nice one. And yeah, I mean, even if it's Swedish Father's Day, if you have a good relationship with your father or someone that you have as a father's figure, maybe just send them a nice message. Say, Happy Father's Day, the Swedish one today. But let's start by having a look on the nose. Actually, retails around £80–90. I've said that, and now we have a look at the nose. Ooh, it's like a bonfire in a candy shop. I was also gonna say, if you want to see a little, I was thinking of maybe making a video where you have a little closer look at what my dad actually has at home in his bar. And if you're curious to see that, because I actually didn't start drinking whiskey because of my dad, it was all because of Cody. But if you're curious to see, he has some older bottles and some really curious ones. We could maybe do a little video where I show you what he has at home, and then maybe we can pick one to make another review of. But yeah, back to the nose. It's like peaches, like peach sweets or pear sweets with a bonfire woodiness and a little bit of a coastal salty sea breeze notes. A little bit of green grass as well. Don't know why I said green grass. Is grass any other colour? I guess when it's a little bit more dead it can be brown, but like quite fresh grass. Quite autumnal, almost a bit nutty as well. I think the initial thing was the fruitiness, almost like kind of candy, artificial fruitiness with a bonfire, and now it's turning into grassiness and sherry. Yeah, so like opening a jar of raisins. And the woodiness is that kind of charred bonfire, but also almost like shipwreck, but a dry shipwreck. So like what I mean by that is wood that has aged and been quite old, but is still quite dry. But let's have a little taste. Sláinte Skål, and happy Swedish Father's Day, and happy birthday to my dad. It has a sooty smoke on the palate. A little bit grassiness. Actually quite coastal. It also makes me think a little bit of soy sauce in some weird way. Maybe it's a little bit kind of umami in there. The kind of saltiness. It's an interesting smoke. I think if you're used to the other Islas or Lagavulin 16, this does have like a sweeter touch, but it is, yeah, almost it's not super oily. It does have a little bit of an oily touch, and then it has like a grassy smoke for me today. Grassy, sooty, slightly oily smoke. I think the sherry is kind of there in the edges, just rounding it off a little bit, but it's not a big punch sherry. I think particularly this time of year, this is a good one, because the sherry and the smoke just makes it feel quite cozy. But this one, I wouldn't say it's not too heavy or too difficult, but it might be that it also sits at 43. I think this is an interesting one because on the bottle you can see when it was distilled and when it was bottled, which is an interesting thing for a non-age statement, because this seems to be a non-age statement whiskey that a lot of people, even those who might be a little bit against non-age statements, like a lot. And it might just be because of that you get the distillation date and the bottling date, so you have an idea of where in the ballpark it falls in the age. But it's an interesting one for sure. I quite like these coloured bottles. It always makes me think of, because we actually have a little summer house in the west coast, and when we were younger, in the place where we used to go swimming, there was this place where it was quite it wasn't very deep for quite a long time, so you could walk for almost like miles. Obviously I'm exaggerating, but you can walk for so many meters and it was still just up to your knees. And sometimes we found a treasure, which could be bottles, and it was always this kind of coloured glass, probably beer bottles, so it's not very romantic, but we saw it as treasure when we were children, so it always has a bit of that kind of nostalgic feel for me. The nose is still quite sherried, I would say. It's more sherried on the nose than on the palate. Even just after this short amount of time in the glass, it's just calmed down a little bit. At first, when I just had a first sip, it was almost like it was a little bit confused, but now everything's kind of settled. It's that kind of coastal meets a little bit of sherry, meets a little bit of fruits, meets a little bit of oiliness. It just kind of has a nice kind of balance of things. And I think if you like a softer smoke, this might be one for you. But I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you like Lagavulin? Do you like Lagavulin Distillers Edition? Is it your favourite Lagavulin? Let me know in the comments here below. And of course, let me know if you would like to see a little tour of my dad's bar, or any of the ones that you might be able to see here on the shelf. I am now gonna go enjoy dinner with my dad, because I'm actually filming this just hours before it's going live. And I am looking forward to filming the little shot of the bottle in its very special place, which is actually also a handmade cabinet or cupboard, I guess. I don't know what you call it, like you'll see it. It's quite cool. And yeah, hope to see you in the next video. I want to say a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon for following along on my whiskey journey. And if you do want to support the channel, I'd absolutely appreciate a thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you haven't already, or if you want to check out the affiliate links to Master Malt Whisky Exchange or the Scotch Malt Whisky Society here in the section below. But I hope to see you in the next one. Sláinte Skål.